Would you like an extra $150,000 added to your bottom line annually? It's out there for you to earn when you regularly bring attic ventilation into the scope of work of your residential roofing projects. Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Airing It Out with AirVent. My name is Paul Schelsey. I host AirVent's Attic Ventilation Ask the Expert seminars offered every winter to residential roofing professionals all across North America since 1998. After listening to a recent podcast episode, Kyle Pyatt sent me a note saying, applying our attic ventilation knowledge has directly been the difference in at least $150,000 in gross sales in the last 12 months. AirVent's education that we have passed along has given us credibility that others lack. In turn, we've been awarded projects because of it. Kyle is our guest on the show today. He is Director of Residential Sales for Gen 3 Roofing Corporation in Centennial, Colorado. Welcome to the podcast, Kyle.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Kyle, if I may, please, I'd like to get right to it. The dollars, for anyone listening who might be thinking this, is an extra $150,000 annually meaningful, in your opinion, to a residential roofing company?
Well, in the industry where most people are paid on commissions, if you told everyone that was on your team that they would be, that just being educated on proper attic ventilation, put an extra $15,000 in their pocket, I'd say it's pretty monumental. And on the business side of things, any additional revenue holds a ton of value, especially in a time to like 2020, where we might have hit some hiccups that we weren't expecting. So. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for tying that into recent times as well, the hardships that we're facing. But even independent of that, yes, it is meaningful money. Thank you,
sure.
Kyle. I like how you explain that. Kyle, what specific educational tips, when you first reached out to me with your note, tips, guidance about attic ventilation has helped you earn credibility that other contractors lack? Can you please identify a few examples for our listeners?
Sure. I think one of the most overlooked parts of a roof system as a whole is about balanced attic ventilation. So eliminating multiple types of venting is key to properly cycling out the air of the attic. Had a customer early last year that we re-roofed. They had box vents, wind turbines, powered attic vents. Very skeptical when we wanted to disconnect and abandon all of those and actually cut in continuous ridge vent. So, we, in August, actually, we received a phone call from them about probably 5 months after we did that roof. Just called and said thank you. Said for years that their AC would kick on all summer long around 12:30 every day. Since that roof was installed, the AC would kick on around 3:30 every day. The house was noticeably cooler. So it made a huge change. And the only thing that we did was just change the attic ventilation intake and outtake. So
I like that, Kyle. Kyle, for our listeners, when we talk about multiple types of exhaust, it's not recommended to mix or combine multiple types. So of the types, there's ridge vents, there's box vents. You said wind turbines, power fans, gable louvers. They're all types of exhaust. We don't want to mix those because it could short circuit the system, make it inefficient. So when you showed up, Gen 3 showed up, you stopped that game.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And then you landed on ridge vent for that particular project?
Yeah, it was a long gable roof. It made sense to have ridge vent go all the way across, and it was perfect. So, yeah. I
like it. And I would imagine, not that you saw their energy bills, but with the AC running more efficiently, that's a savings, right? Yeah.
I'm sure that's what triggered the phone call to say thank you in the first place. So.
Right. That's great. So right there, you solved the problem, made it more efficient, energy savings for the homeowner. That's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
And along the way, you're getting, the bottom line's being boosted because you're doing it correctly.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's just a natural process.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, is just a win-win for us, for Gen 3 and the customers. So.
Yes, thank you. To put you on the spot a little bit, Kyle, that no one always comfortable talking about ourselves, but if I may, please, what's been said by homeowners that you can remember, maybe recently, that indicated Gen 3 roofing is different than other contractors? What's been said, please?
Well, I think, we're in a saturated market here in Denver, Colorado, full of quote unquote roofing contractors. But what you'll actually find is most are sales organizations. The roofing contractors, the Gen 3 roofings of the industry, take the time to educate and learn constantly. Continued education and training is kind of what makes us stand out to our customers. And we get a lot of feedback on that. So I'd say that's probably like the biggest thing that makes us stand out.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. Let's say a roofing contractor fully intends to include proper balanced attic ventilation, meaning intake vents like you talked about, low on the roof at the eave, and exhaust vents at or near the peak. We'll say ridge vent for your example recently. But upon hearing the price, the homeowner pushes back and eventually rejects that portion of the project, meaning, I'll take the roof. I'll take that new roof, but you can pass, please, on the ventilation. When can you start? What should happen, Kyle, in your opinion, in your recommendation at that moment? What should take place?
Well, I think you just need to educate the homeowners. Homeowners trust that, our 3 generations of roofing and education in this industry is what separates us from the rest. So educating homeowners on the negative side effects usually is enough to convince them. Local building codes can sometimes play a factor in a part of them pulling the trigger on it. So you got to do your homework as a roofing contractor here locally. Every municipality is different here. Here in Colorado, we get 330 or so days of sunshine. So with the high altitude and sun exposure we get, it makes attic ventilation that much more important. Dark shingles are probably 50 to 60 degrees hotter than, ambient temperature. So proper venting can help protect against, warping and cracking, prolonging the life of your roof. The fact is that the cost of the problems down the road far outweigh the cost to do it right up front. So in order to get that full life of your roof, this is a corner that you just can't cut.
I like that, Kyle. I wrote a couple notes. Man, you shared some gems there. First of all, thank you for that tidbit about the dark shingles. Yeah. So they're operating at a higher temperature.
Yeah.
How much you're spending X dollars on these nice shingles. Let's not overlook the ventilation. And I think what frustrates some contractors, Kyle, is the money for the ventilation. Look, it's extra money, but in relationship to the scope of the project, it's a small fraction of it. So.
Yeah, and I think too, contractors can be, flexible. Sometimes it's not all about making every single dollar out there, and sometimes it's about doing the right thing for the project that you're working on. So I think at some point you got to take a little bit of responsibility as a contractor and just make sure that you're doing the right thing. Okay.
So are you suggesting, Kyle, that maybe I'm not saying do it for free unless you are, but maybe accommodate the price so you can still do the venting correctly?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I see. Okay, thank you. I've actually heard that from some other contractors. Thank you for sharing that. I was always curious if that's being well received by your peers. Do it for free. Come on. Well, you're picking your spots, I'm sure.
Sure, absolutely. And you're not necessarily doing it for free, but you're not trying to make 45% on it either. You know what I mean?
Okay, I follow you. Thank you, Kyle. I want to circle back to something else that you said. It probably sounds obvious, but I like it for the homeowner's perspective. The cost up front that they're pushing back on,
mm-hmm.
that's not going to be significant when the consequences of not spending that money hits the table down the road. In other words, if we don't properly vent,
And what we've seen a lot of just lately in our market, real estate is just, we're on an all-time low as far as inventory goes. People are, selling their houses. And one of the things that everyone's looking at is the roof. Well, the roofs, some of these guys had the roofs on for 10 years and they've already got cracking and different things out. And now they're coming out of pocket before they got to sell that house. So there's just the cost. The reason why you got to do it up front is just to prolong that roof. So Sure.
Kyle, another scenario, please. Sorry to put you on the spot, but you're doing well with this. So let's just say, even though you've done the math and you've lowered the price a bit, mm-hmm. and you're still getting pushed back, is there a point? Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What will you do? What happens for Gen 3? They want the roof, skip the vents. And you've attempted to lower the price, and they're still saying no.
It's a good question. We haven't had a ton of experience with that. Usually, like I said, they're going to trust, our opinion. We're not the cheapest roofing contractor you're going to find anyway.
Okay.
Because we don't cut corners. So it's really not a corner that we're willing to cut, just knowing, the long-term negative side effects that you're going to have.
I like that. You're priced appropriately for the scope of work that you're delivering.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sounds like you won't do it incorrectly, Kyle, if I may speak for you. Yeah. I like that. I respect that. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle, as we wrap up this topic on boosting your business and look, the meat and potatoes of the project is the roof itself, the shingles. And I think sometimes ventilation is overlooked for its capability to boost your bottom line. And thank you for sharing that. And you're doing it right all along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Kyle, either about boosting your business by including ventilation or anything in general that you want to share for our listeners?
I'll just add specifically to, a hail market, like we have here. Sometimes ventilation up to code can be covered by the insurance company. So continue to do your homework and add value to your consumers. I know just for the most part, probably 95% of our residential projects come through insurance. So just do your homework and make sure that you can get that done and get it done right.
Yes. Thank you, Kyle. And we have some tools on airvent.com that addresses insurance projects. And thank you for bringing that up. It comes to mind that, sometimes insurance pushes back. They'll pay for the roof. Now, wait a minute, the vents, they only had this many vents, and now we're going to be doing the roof today. Well, you want to bring that roof up to current standards as well. And that could be part of the claim. I know we're not on this call right now to talk about insurance, but that could be positioned in your conversation.
100%. Yeah. And that could be the difference between them going with you too in the first place, is you might be the only person that brought that up out of the, 3 or 4 people that they've had, extensively talk to them about doing their roofing projects. So. Nice.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed you sharing your thoughts on this and your expertise. And thank you very much. Kyle's been an attendee at our AirVent seminar. That's some of the education that he has received. But there's education out there, and I would encourage folks to keep on including balanced attic ventilation in your roofing projects. And not only gives your customers the best possible roof, it would boost your business. Kyle, I'm going to wrap things up for our listeners. I want to thank you again for your time, and we appreciate it very much on behalf of homeowners and roofing contractors, the industry at large. Thank you very much for your time today.
Well, you're welcome, and it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kyle. Well, that wraps up this episode. Please leave a review on iTunes if you'd like, and be sure to let us know if there's a topic you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Maybe you'd like to be a guest one day like Kyle was a guest today. Drop us a note on the podcast page of our website, airvent.com. And please come back for more Airing It Out with AirVent. I'm Paul Chelsea. Thanks for listening.